Well, call them. Let's see. Yeah, we have a quorum. So call the monthly meeting of the Columbia County Planning Board to order. Did everybody get a chance to look over the minutes of the previous meeting?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mallory so moves. Terry seconds it. All those in favor?
Right.
Aye. All those opposed? Minutes are all set.
Okay.
Back to 239 referrals.
Okay. Okay, so we have 9 this month, and with a few that were turned away because they were exempt actions or not referable matters. So we will start with 21014 Town of Stockport. This actually was referred for last month's meeting, but it was in my spam folder, and I just happened to look through my spam. I usually delete it, and I happened to see this, so this is kind of got buried. So apologize to the Town of Stockport for the delay. Okay, so it's 20014 Town of Stockport Planning Board. The applicant is Joseph Pearson. Make this a little bit bigger.
Is this where the old auction barn used to be?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought. It looks like it.
Okay. It's to establish an auction barn art and antique shop. It's approval of a site plan within 500 feet of US 9. The existing zoning is R, and existing land use is residential and commercial. Surrounding is ag and residential. The parcel is approximately 2.2 acres, and there are 2 structures on site, here and here. The site plan review is required for the change in use from a storage use to an auction barn and art antique shop, to be named Cabinet of Curiosities. There are 2 existing structures. This structure here will be used for storage. The second structure towards the south will be used as the shop on the first floor, and there's a second floor that will be used for storage. They're proposing use a portable toilet facility, and potable water will be brought on site as needed. There's proposing a freestanding sign in this area right here along 9. There are 2 drives, proposing one in and one out off of Route 9. The parking area over here would be gravel. And I just have a provision on the summaries that reads that no person shall undertake or construct any new building or structure intended for human occupancy within the town without first meeting the requirements for a system or facilities for potable water supply and sewage disposal. Now, they say they're using a portable toilet and bringing water on site. So I just highlighted that, or bring that provision to your attention. We didn't find that there was any countywide impact from this. And we're not going to be able to see that. Huh. Okay. Well, but I do have a couple of comments, one pertaining to the water and sewer, noting that on the EAF number 10, they're indicating that potable water will be brought to the site as needed, and that number 11, a portable toilet will be used, and suggesting that the applicant provide information and verify that this arrangement is in accordance with New York State Building Code and laws and regulations, and the applicant should provide that information to the town of Stockport. The second comment pertaining to access, suggesting that the applicant contact New York State Department of Transportation regarding any improvements for the drives off of US 9 that may be necessary as a result of the change in use. And parking, suggesting that the parking area on the site plan, that they identify the number of parking spaces, including ADA spaces in that area.
Make a motion to accept staff's recommendation.
Second.
Larry, okay, so Ed so moves. Larry seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion's carried. decision.
Okay. This one's not quite as easy to read. Not quite as clear. Oops. As big as I can make it so it fits on the screen. Okay, so this one is 21015V, Town of Canaan Planning Board. The applicant, Sandry Realty Company, also known as the Canaan Sunoco Station. Location is 12737 New York State Route 22. It's south of the New York State Thruway. The proposed action are improvements to the existing gas station and convenience store. It's approval of a site plan within 500 feet of a state road. The existing zoning is C2. Existing land use is commercial and surrounding it's commercial and the throughway. It's right next to the Love's Travel Stop, the truck stop. A site plan review is required for improvements to the existing gas station and convenience store, the Canaan Sunoco Station. It's modification of a previously approved site plan. We're proposing to add 4 drive-through diesel pumps over here, set in a concrete pad. They also will expand this parking area over in this area. There's stormwater management and drainage improvements are proposed. They're also proposing some directional signage along the roadway for the truck access to this new diesel pump station. They'll also be adding LED light poles here in the perimeter in this new area over here. They're also proposing some interior renovations to the existing building here where the convenience store is. There's an existing on-lot well and septic system. The leach field is, I don't know if you can see it on here. It's really light. They're proposing that the hours of operation will be 24/7. Right now, I guess it's open periodically or maybe not even that often open. They're also seeking permission to work in this right of way. This area here that they're proposing, this pavement and access, is not on their property. So they are currently working to determine ownership. There's some information that I had that it was an abandoned town road, and so that is being worked out currently to allow them permission or an easement, access easement, or some arrangement for them to actually conduct or to expand into this area. Also, part of the site plan review provisions in the town of Canaan, setbacks are at the discretion of the Canaan Planning Board. And the town code enforcement officer has identified this project as it's grandfathered in, quote unquote, and therefore the site plan requires site plan amendment according to their zoning law. And also identified there is the presence of long-eared bat on this site. We didn't find any countywide impact from this. I have a few comments noting the issue with the expansion area, just putting that in the record, that noting that the applicant is seeking required permissions for the acquisition or easements in order to conduct the improvements and to expand the pavement beyond the current parcel boundaries. The second pertaining to the setbacks, that they are at the discretion of the town of Canaan Planning Board, and suggesting that for emergency access, the Canaan local fire chief review the site plan.
Okay.
So I don't understand where is the access to these diesel pumps? How do they get in and out of there?
Well, the existing,
I can't see it.
let me see if I can show you. This is what it looks like now.
Right,
Okay, so here's that little island that you could see.
right.
So the access would be down farther. If you are, I should have put that other photo up here, but if you are down further, there is it's actually like a gravel roadway that's directly
That's
to the west. West?
Something Chuck Road or whatever.
This direction, yeah. And so that is the area in question.
So they're
That's,
gonna bring another driveway out onto that other
yeah,
road?
so the actual trucks would drive down this existing access road here
Okay,
and then down further on the other side of the parcel.
yeah,
And the area that they would expand is on this grassy area over here.
yeah.
So that's what they're proposing, that the trucks would go down this way and enter and have their parking area over there in that
Back.
proposed section.
Back of that white truck. Back of that white van there.
Yeah, I'm trying to see, I don't know if I put the other, well, here you can see this is not lined up, but this is the area here.
So do they expand that road?
Well, that's what they're working out with
That's what they're
to
working
determine whether it's right of way
at,
from
right?
the Thruway Authority or if it's right away with the town. I don't know. We've just been given the information from the chair of that board that those discussions are in, in process. So I just wanted to put it on in our comments that we know. But if you see on the site plan, they show, other than the paving, the pumps are actually shown on this plan
Right.
on their property. And it's right up to the property line, but the setbacks are at the discretion of the planning board, so they could grant approval with this being right on the property line if they so chose. And then they could still use this as an access road, I guess, if they don't obtain an easement or modify how they're proposing to add it. Because right now they could drive over this way. There are underground tanks for these pumps are located here. The tank for this proposed diesel pumps will be here, will be above ground. Storage tank in a steel dike, and all these little bollards will be there to protect. Let's see, right here's these little polka dots.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they're bollards that would be built
So they
around.
really have to get that approval to use that right away, or they can't get out of there.
Correct.
Yeah, they'd never be able to drive through those pumps and turn around.
Well,
That'd be
back
tricky.
out.
They'd have to reconfigure. They would have to reconfigure this. Maybe they already have something worked out. They just don't have the legal documents prepared for the planning board. I'm not sure. I don't have that level of detail, but in his cover letter, he pointed that out, that was being worked on. So
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that.
Mallory so moves. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Gary seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion's carried.
okay, the next I'm trying to make this. I can't find to make this. Huh, very strange. I can't decrease the size. Okay, so the next one is 21016, the Village of Chatham Planning Board. It's Elder Esau Orlana Moran. The location is 3 Railroad Avenue. The proposed action is to establish a grocery store in an existing structure. It's approval of a site plan within 500 feet of State Road, Route 66 here. The existing zoning is C1 in the historic overzone. Existing land use is vacant commercial, surrounding commercial, and the structure is existing. I don't know why I can't decrease the size of this. It's really. Oswaldo, would you have any idea why this won't let me reduce? Great, thank you. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is the actual floor plan. With site plan review is required to establish the grocery store to sell retail Hispanic products, La Centro Americana Grocery. The first floor has two retail areas, one here and then a larger one that's closer to the front of the store. There's would be a closet, a bathroom, and a storage area. They're proposing minor interior renovations, exterior signage, and there's municipal water and sewer. And the reason why this is here is because the planning board has review all changes for uses involving a change of use in existing structures. It's a minor project, and it's also the historic overzone, which would also requires planning board review. You can see any countywide impact from this, and we have no comments.
Well, the funny thing is they've had like 3 or 4 different tenants over time there.
Mhm.
Well,
Where I think the Democratic Party had their headquarters, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
So the last one's in there.
yes, they did. That was on the,
Was the antique shop before that. But anyway,
What's on the second floor, Patrice? Do you know?
I don't.
Where are they gonna take in deliveries? In the front? Because it looks like the back they can't get to.
It would have to along the road. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the building right next to it, the gray top one on the same lot there? Looks like they're touching each other.
This one here is this looks like a professional office. I'm not sure what it is, but this one used to be Video Visions. I think it's now going to be, is this the,
yeah, Video Visions is still there now, but
is it, that's supposed to be the restaurant coming restaurant? I thought.
I don't know. I haven't heard that one.
Okay, well, that's what's there now. Video Visions is here in this long building. This appears to be professional office space, and this was a retail shop.
Now, let me ask you a stupid question. Where are they parking all these cars for these buildings? Because I don't see any parking lots.
Well, there's parking, there's municipal parking
Yes,
down Main Street. There's parking across the street here from
the other
by
side
the
of the
depot.
railroad tracks.
There's on-street parking.
But really, most of it's street parking, on-street parking
Yeah.
in Chatham.
Municipal parking by Harrington's and the bank there.
You know,
Yep. Oh. Okay, any other questions or comments? Also move local decision.
I'll second that.
Ed seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is carried.
okay. Next, we have 21017, the Town of Kinderhook Planning Board. The applicant is Greendale Solar LLC. The location is County Route 32, which is northeast of Rapp Road North. It's to construct a solar array. It's approval of a site plan and issuance of special use permit within 500 feet of Cedar County roadway. The existing zoning is AR. The existing land use, ag. Surrounding is ag, residential, and forest. The parcel is approximately 129 acres, and it's to construct a proposed solar array. The parcel is partially located within Columbia County in the town of Kinderhook, and partially in the majority of is in Rensselaer County in Skodak. Site plan review and special use permit is required to construct a 7.5 megawatt solar array located in both Kinderhook and Columbia County in Skodak and Rensselaer, to be called Greendale Community Solar Farm. Special use permit and site plan review is required in both of the municipalities, and it also, just for reference, required plan development from the town board in Skodak. The solar farm will have the capacity to generate enough renewable energy to power approximately 1,225 homes. The modules will be on a single axis tracker system with racking, inverters, transformers, battery storage, access road, and fencing. The land would be leased from a single landowner. It would be connected to the grid with utility poles on Route 32. The estimated operational life of the array is 40 years. After that point in time, they will return to rural agricultural use. They will be disturbing approximately 3.5 acres. They conducted a visual impact assessment, doing flying balloons 15 feet from the corners of the array. The conclusion for that was that minor screening with evergreen buffer would be necessary to mitigate some visual impacts, but that from most of the vantage points, visual impact would be limited because of the topography, vegetation, and distance or combination thereof. There's a proposed planting plan that shows the locations of the evergreen buffers. There's also reviewed by the Niverville Fire Department, and they signed off on the design and configuration for emergency access. It also requires a NYSERDA review and submission to Ag and Markets for the Ag District, and it will actually go to the Ag and Farm Protection Board as well. There's also Army Corps Engineers wetlands on the parcel. See if I can show you those. Go. It will also, because of the amount of disturbance, will require a stormwater pollution and prevention plan. The soils map shows the location of the prime farmland, the little brown prime farmland if drained, and farmland of statewide importance. I believe there's around 22 acres that are involved with the ag land. They also estimate that it will take 4 months for construction. I could show you some of the visual analysis. This shows the proximity to ag district parcels. So it's a 40-page visual impact assessment, and they have the points of interest here where they're shooting to identify visual impact. You can see all the arrows. There's also a number of before and after existing conditions and proposed.
So Patrice, it looks like all the panels themselves are actually in.
Actually, yeah.
Was that done on purpose, I wonder, or do you have any idea?
I would venture a guess that would have been on purpose, but I don't have any information to prove that. It seems intentional because they stopped right on the line. But the access is off of, in Columbia County here.
And they're right on a power line, huh?
Yeah. Well, so we did identify countywide impact from this, inter-CUNY countywide impact, and recommending approval as we've done with all the others that we've been reviewing. The triggers for the countywide inter-CUNY considerations are compatibility of various land uses with one another, protection of CUNY character, official municipal county developmental policies, and other matters as may relate to public convenience and government efficiency. So the comments include that they comply with all state, local, and federal regulations. First comment, ag districts noting that ag data statement was prepared as required within 500 feet of the parcels in ag district 6 and 10. Soils, note that the site contains productive farmland soils, including prime farmland soils of statewide importance, and that there be a loss of ag land with the ag soils to a non-ag, incorporate best management practices during all phases, including construction, operation, and decommissioning. Also noting about the NYSERDA notice of intent is required. Number 4, stormwater, stormwater pollution prevention plan is required. Number 5, wetlands, identify that there are core wetlands and that a permit for disturbance may be necessary. Emergency access, noting that the local fire chief in Columbia County has reviewed. Decommissioning, noting that a decommissioning plan was not included with we have. I'm not sure if one was submitted to in Rensselaer County, but suggest that a preparation of that be requested from the applicant. Also screening, suggesting that they add the location of the existing vegetation buffers to be maintained, that the applicant provide assurances that any screening vegetation loss will be replaced. And connection to the grid, applicant provide information on the proposed connection to the grid from the array. I didn't see any real detailed information in the package that we received, and perhaps it just didn't send us everything, but that's the last comment.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments? No, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Barry so moves for approval with the comments. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mallory seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion's carried.
Okay. We have 3 Greenport projects. So, and there's only 5 people, so there is not enough people to vote on this. So, or this one or the 2 following. So I will just read the numbers and
Brief,
you want me to-
brief, yeah,
what?
just a brief.
Okay. The first one is 21018V, Town of Greenport Planning Board. The applicant is Grace Assembly Church. The location is 141 Route 23B. Proposed action is to construct a church. Approval of a site plan within 500 feet of a state highway. The proposed church would be located on 2 parcels that will be merged. There's an existing church that is down the road a little bit in what used to be, at one point in time, it was a gas station. It's been there for a few years. Actually, it was referred to us probably about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. So the existing house structure will remain. There's an existing shed on this parcel, which will be demolished. The access would be off of 23B. This is the location of the church. Parking would be on the side and also to the rear would be gravel parking. This driveway is paved up to this point of the parking area. There's municipal water and sewer. There are core wetlands, but they are off-site in an adjacent parcel. The environmental assessment form identified small impacts that may result from the change or intensity of use, the existing level of traffic, and the increased potential for erosion, flooding, and drainage problems. Didn't find that there's any countywide impact. Just 2 comments, one relating to the access that DOT approval would be required, and emergency access noting that the fire chief reviewed the plans and signed off.
Any questions or comments? I'll make a motion, local decision. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Barry seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Ed, you abstaining?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Motion's not carried. Green Court will be notified
Okay.
due to lack of quorum on that vote. Next up,
Okay. This, the next is 21019V, Town of Greenport Planning Board. The applicant is White Cliff Vineyard and Winery Incorporated. The location is 4150 Route 23. To establish a farm store and tasting room, approval of a site plan within 500 feet of a state road. There's no zoning in Greenport. The existing land use is agriculture. The surrounding is ag, residential, the Hudson River, and the Rip from Eagle Bridge. There is an existing metal barn on the site. I can show you that. Oops. The site plan is, and the use would be just for this little section of the parcel, not the entire parcel. It would be leased to the operators of this area and the little farm store. It's to establish a farm store and tasting room in an existing structure for a vineyard and winery. They'll be leasing the building, septic, and the defined area for the operations. They're proposing a little gravel loop driveway. Here, with parking located here. There's existing access from this point off of 23, and that actually was constructed by the Bridge Authority. So there are no, and they have signed off on the use of the continued use of this for this proposed use. There's an existing on-lot well and septic system. There will be a freestanding sign here by the entrance. Within the application, there was submitted a copy of a valid farm winery license. And just to give you an idea, that involves the ability to operate a farm winery for the manufacturing of wine, meat, and cider. They may sell the products bulk. They also may sell to licensed entities for consumption off premise. They may conduct tastings and sell for retail and sell for on-site consumption. They may also sell food, have a little restaurant. They also are able to host gatherings and events. That's just a few of the things that are involved with that type of winery license. Didn't see any countywide impact from this. We do have comments noting that the existing access has been reviewed by the New York State Bridge Authority and who found it acceptable, and that there's an easement for the roadside signage. And that's it.
Are they putting signage out by 23?
I think so. There will be a sign here by the entrance, and there's also one planned to be located closer to the rotary or the roundabout.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. Yes, here it goes right here. This is the 23 one, and it doesn't show. I can't show you the rotary. I'm not sure where it's going to be located on that. I don't know if it's on. I don't think it shows on this either. The location of the other signage. But if you've ever been to the Rotary, there's a number of signs all around that. So that's so.
Yeah, it's a good location for them. It's on the walk from Alana to Thomas Cole House. So yeah.
They can crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, should hopefully do well. Okay, any questions or comments? We'll entertain a motion.
I'll make it.
Valerie so moves. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Barry seconds it. All those in favor? Aye.
I will abstain.
All those opposed? Ed abstains. Motion's not carried. Report planning board be notified.
And Ed is abstaining because he's chairman of the
Right.
board.
Yeah.
Thought we were gonna bring Oswaldo in here.
That's why we would use all, well, yeah, exactly.
Call Rick up quick.
See, Oswald was supposed to say aye all of a sudden, like, so nobody even knew where her voice came from. Kept waiting.
No,
Oh, we would have done it so quickly you wouldn't even known.
I would have known. Okay, so the next one is another Greenport 21020V. The applicant is Sunmark Federal Credit Union. It's 207A Green Street. It's a modification to an existing use, a credit union, approval of a site plan within 500 feet of the state highway. There's no zoning in Greenport. The existing land use is commercial. Surrounding is commercial, residential, and firehouse. The parcel is approximately 0.66 acres, and the structure is existing. Site plan review is required for the modification to a previously approved site plan. Sunmark Federal Credit Union was previously known as a Columbia Green Federal Credit Union. They're proposing to install an outdoor ATM to reconfigure the parking area. However, they will not be losing any spaces. They will be maintaining the 32 spaces that are currently on the site. There will be modifications to the existing ADA access. There's a handicap ramp, and they will be adding a lift, an ADA compliant lift system. They're also replacing the fencing here. And on the environmental assessment form, they identified that there would be a small impact to existing level of traffic. We didn't find any countywide impact from this. We have no comments.
Okay.
So Patrice, where do the cars go after they go to the ATM? How do they exit?
Well, there's a
Oh, right there. Oh, okay. Yeah,
there's an access point here,
Yeah.
here, and there's also over here on Columbia Turnpike, there's a rear entrance. So
yeah. Can't get back around there.
there's a one-way sign here
Okay.
and another one-way there.
Now, is this a drive-up ATM or just an outside where you walk up to it? Because it says outdoor ATM. It doesn't say drive-up.
Well,
Looks like drive up when you see
it's
that.
drive
little-
up. She's got a little canopy and you
Yeah.
can pull right up alongside of it.
All right,
You see the little car right here?
yeah, all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, okay.
I can make it bigger.
Yeah, I see it now, yeah.
So there's a parking lighting being added.
Yep, sounds good.
Gotcha.
Any more questions or comments?
Make a motion.
Larry so moves, local decision. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mallory seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Ed will be abstaining once again. Motion's not carried.
Okay. Okay, so the next is 21021V, Town of Kinderhook Town Board. It's local law number 1 of 2021, pertaining to solar farms. Adoption of local law number 1, a local law amending section chapter 250 of the Town of Kinderhook Code to amend the provisions of the zoning law with regard to development standards for solar farms. The purpose and intent is to regulate and ensure orderly land use development within the town in such a manner that does not harm public health, safety, and welfare. So the amendments include to subsection 250-39, development standards for solar farms. The zoning law currently defines solar farm as a large scale or utility scale solar energy system that's ground mounted and produces energy primarily for the purpose of off-site sale or consumption. Under the proposed amendment, site plan review and special use permit would be required, and in addition to these development standards, they need to provide certification from a licensed engineer that the solar energy system is sufficiently installed and anchored, that it meets any and all applicable provisions of New York State laws, regulations, and codes. They must demonstrate that the construction activities meet all provisions of New York State laws, regulations, and codes. Demonstrate that the solar farm is configured to provide emergency access, adequate emergency access. Also, I set forth some mission requirements for the site plan application. I also identified that the maximum acreage for a solar farm would be 5 acres, maximum lot coverage 50%, and establishing a 1,000-foot minimum setback. Maximum height 20 feet. No solar farm shall be designed, constructed, or placed upon land containing prime farmland soils and or soils of statewide importance as classified by Natural Resource Conservation Service and set forth in the soil survey. Utility lines from the solar farm to the grid will be installed underground, the exception being that the applicant shall be permitted 3 utility poles to transition the power from the farm to the grid. Must be located on the applicant's solar farm site or utility lines in a utility use easement. This demonstrate that there's sufficient screening to screen the system from abutting properties and public roadways. Landscaping plan is required, and also they must replace any plant materials that die or become ineffective. Once the array ceases to perform for more than 12 consecutive months, the property owner is required to remove no later than 90 days after the end of the 12-month period. And if they fail to remove, the town may remove and charge the cost of removal to the property owner with a tax bill. There's also two amendments to the use regulation table for solar farm permitting use subject to special use permit and site plan review in the AR, R2, R3, B1, and B1A, I1, and MHP zoning districts. The existing zoning which is a special use permit in all districts except the hamlet and floodplain. They're also proposing to add bank, changing the permitted use that it would be subject to special use permit and site plan review in the B1 and the B1A. The existing zoning provides for site plan review as a permitted use in the B1 district. I didn't find any countywide impact from this, and I have no comments. This apparently is was reviewed, also has to be reviewed by the Kenterhook Planning Board, and the public hearing is, I believe, still open. If it's been held yet, it may not even have been held yet, but so there may be some revisions to this because once it goes through the review of the planning board and the public hearing.
See that no prime farmland soils are used. That's the way it should be in the whole county. The county should get on board and say that. Massachusetts and Connecticut, I don't think they can use any prime ag lands for solar.
Like,
What you guys feeling on that?
I think it's something that should be looked into.
You bet your boots it is.
I don't know about all of it, but
It should. I mean, all prime farmlands are not made alike. And so there are let's take, for instance, the project we just looked at tonight, the couple little patches of prime land. Are you not going to allow that one in because there's a little bit of clay up there that would have to be drained in order to be decent farmland? Or, would you not allow one that uses a small amount of prime farmland like that? I mean, I think there are, to just make a blanket statement, I think is rough to do. But I take what you're saying to heart. I agree with you for the most part.
I think back to when they did the town of Austerlitz zoning, they came up with the idea of if you did any excavation where there's prime agricultural lands, you had to go before the planning board. Well, the map showed that half of downtown Spencertown was actually prime soils. So anybody digging in their garden would have to go technically to the planning board. Well, some of the maps are, I think it's something that should be perhaps looked into, but
Look at the issue they got out there in Prairieville. That's all ag land.
yeah, and maybe there's some that shouldn't be put in the solar and some that should, but it's
Most of them that we've seen have been prime farmland. That's where they put them because it's open land.
Because they don't have to do anything. They just
Right.
put the posts in.
well, part of it now is you're seeing all the frontage go. To me, that's the worst part. They're taking the ag land plus it's the frontage to the state and county road.
No,
When a couple more telephone poles and you could set it back. The one that Colorusos has is a pretty good location. In my mind, that's set back off the road. It's not that far back off the road, but enough. But anyway, so yeah, so I understand what they're doing. That's for sure. Is there any other questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion. Local decision. I'll make the motion. Local decision.
I'll second it. I agree with their thinking here.
Okay, Larry seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. Next is 21022B, Town of Ghent Planning Board. The applicant 4C's Realty LLC, Coon Self Storage. The location is 1840 Route 9H. It's to construct storage units. It's approval of a site plan, issuance of a special use permit within 500 feet of a state highway. The existing zoning is C1. Existing land use is commercial, light industrial. Surrounding residential, wooded, commercial, ag. Parcel is 25.5. Structure are proposed and there are existing. Site plan review and special use permit is required to construct 2 new self-storage units.
I didn't think they had any room left up there.
Well, yes, they do. This is the full build out plan. Showing where if all are built, what the configuration would be, which was actually, this project has been slowly growing, and this would be the 3rd referral that we've had for it. And one of the comments that we made early on is that a full build out plan should show, because they were coming back a few times, and so they've actually done that here. This is this first map, and the second one is showing the actual storage units for this particular site plan review. There would be a slight increase in traffic, 1 vehicle per hour, 8 to 10 vehicles per week. Hours of operation, 7 days a week during daylight hours. There's existing on-lot well and septic system, an existing on-site bioretention filter and stormwater management system, and with future expansion area identified in the full build-out plan. There's also some core federal wetlands on the southwest portion of the site. The soils are prime farmland if drained with prime farmland. I can show you that map. This whole site is prime farmland if drained, and then the little brown areas of prime farmland here. Also noting that the parcels are within 500 feet of parcel located within the ag district. There's probable ag use on this plan, and which brings me to the comment that we have. We didn't find any countywide impact from this, but the one comment pertains to the ag district in that an ag data state may be required for this parcel here. They identify that this isn't actually an active farm operation.
Okay. Well, it's good to see they did the full plan. Any questions or comments?
Do I have to recuse or only if I'm on the planning board?
Only if you're on the planning board,
Okay,
unless you have some other reason to do so.
I have no other connection.
Okay. So we want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. We accept staff's recommendation.
Ed so moves. There's second.
I'll second.
Larry seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Local decision. Good.
That is the last referral. There is a training session coming up. It hasn't been finalized yet with the Department of State, and we're co-sponsoring with Greene County. They're spearheading the session. We always alternate. It will be virtual. I think it will. It seems like it's. I believe that they're looking at doing it in later hours rather than midday. But as I get more information on that, I will forward it to everyone. There's also the Environmental Management Council with Colonial Land Conservancy support. They created a natural resource inventory for the county. There'll be a workshop on that as well in May. It's a 2-night session. One night we'll go over the paper copy, and then the second night will include a presentation by Don in our department showing the interface that we have on our website, that using the different layers in GIS and how to use those. And that's in May. So those 2 sessions are probably it'll be a 2-night for the NRI, and the other one I think is 2 sessions, and it may be 2 nights as well. But I'll have more information for that. And I know we discussed the exempt actions, but I don't have a draft for you to look at for this month. So hopefully next month I'll have something.
Do you have a date on the natural resource?
I'll send the save the date to you on that.
Okay. You just don't have a date. Okay.
That's virtual, obviously.
Yeah. I know the New York Planning Federation's got some training programs coming up. I've got a board meeting this Saturday. And one of the things that's going to come up is, the conference is out for this year. But how do you guys think, looking into the crystal ball, what do you think next year is going to bring? Do you see conferences or in-person training sessions?
I sure hope so.
I think there'd be hybrid. I would imagine there's going to have to still be some hybrid stuff, but I think
after September, things are going to go the other way.
Well, it's funny that the more people you talk to, and I've asked a lot of people what they foresee. Some people say, well, you want to be ready with your mask because with the different variants around in different sections, he says, you may get, hopefully they can focus more of, shutting more specific areas down, problems with the variants and things like that. And that's.
I think that once you get all these kids vaccinated, it's going to eliminate a lot of problems.
And the other thing I talked to, I've got a client who works pretty high up in the English department at Columbia University, and she said that they've been told to cut their travel by over 30, down to 30% of what it was previously. Because they like the visual, the hybrid is the way of the future for them.
Is that because of budgetary reasons or because of the,
Convenience.
okay.
A lot of it's convenience, she said, because you can get a lot more done, different speak. You're not spending so much time traveling, and you can get a wider variety of speakers. You know, and as people become more adapted to it, as we have. I mean, look at Larry's comfortable. Look at him. There's almost a smile on his face. Look at that. You know, we may turn this on next month and see his name down in the lower corner there. You know, he may have that computer yet.
Yeah, I think there's going to continue to be a virtual option for sure. You know, even when we do go back to live meetings, I would think.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see how the conversation goes Saturday. So, well, anyways, anybody else have anything to bring before this illustrious board? Well, thank you all for attending tonight, and stay healthy.
All right.
Meeting
Okay,
adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.